Hello, I'm Colin the Head, and welcome to Colin the Head's Concern for Climate Change. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to show you a few personal concerns for actual climate change. Now, we're all aware of climate change. We're all aware that it's actually getting warmer, right? The actual planet is actually getting warmer. Now, if anyone's not come across geoengineering, look it up on internet. It's a fact, right? Geoengineering is happening, right? Geoengineering is happening, and obviously what we're going to look at the actual show today is some of the actual effects it's actually happening on a natural environment. Just things that shouldn't really be happening. I mean, at the moment it's December. It's December the 19th, 2015. It's physically a week off Christmas. Now, we're all aware of the actual climate change that's actually happening out there, and obviously we're burning fossil fuels at an alarming rate. For the last decade, we've had climate change has been big in news agenda, right? And a lot of us have dismissed it. A lot of us have said, nah, that's not going to happen. You know, days when daisies are going to be growing in December. You know, the days when daisies are going to be growing in December is actually here. You know, it's actually happening now. And in this video, we've actually got evidence that actually daisies are growing in December. In fact, we've got daisies, we've got dandelions, and we've got thistles, all growing in this local area. I haven't gone far. I'm in my local area, right? It's December, and what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at what's actually going off on ground. Now, this year we haven't had a frost yet. We've not had a frost. We might have had a light frost. We're in the run up to December. We've not had any real cold weather yet here in Yorkshire. We've not had a proper textbook winter. We've also had I don't know if any of you have watched the chemtrails video in Colin the Head's World of Everything. We've had a lot of geoengineering happening in the area. Now, geoengineering in the form of actually chemtrails and spraying trails into the sky to actually generate what they say will generate false weather. Now, yesterday we had a heavy spray day, so there were a lot of actual spraying going off around this area in the actual skies above us to generate false clouds. We believe this is actually lifting the temperatures. We've got temperature of 15 degrees. It's 19th of December. No way should it be 15 degrees. I'm Colin the Head, and this is Colin the Head's Concern for Climate Change. Right? We've got this here field right now. Obviously this field will have been harvested, right? So obviously there will have been a crop in this field, and it's been ploughed over. But look, all I want you to pay attention to is how much it's actually physically grown. I mean, it's December, just remember it's December. Look at the growth. I mean, it's lush. I mean, it's alive, it's growing. It's December, it's 14 degrees. And this field, this grass thinks it's springtime. It thinks it's springtime, and you've only got to look across the board and look at the actual whole field, and it's growing. It's December. We've not had a frost. We've had a bit of fog, we've had a bit of frost, but we've not had any real winter weather. But we haven't had proper winter weather. All we've had, really, this year, if I really want to talk about it, is this sort of affair, this grey cloud cover. Lots of rain. I mean, the evidence of the actual how much water's actually fell, if I just look over to this actual waterlog over here, there's a bit of waterlog over there. The actual field's waterlogged. And obviously when you see waterlogged field, that means we've had a lot of rain. We've had a lot of rain this week. We've had a lot of precipitation. Stuff that's growing on floor. You know what I mean? All these plants that are growing at the moment in December. What's going to happen like in March, April, May, when they should be growing? Are they going to grow? Are they not going to grow? You know what I mean? What's going to happen? It's just evidence to show that our climate is actually changing, and our seasons are all rolling into one. And people are just accepting it as norm. But at the end of the day, we're to blame for this. Think about it in 10 years. What's it going to be like in another 10 years? What we're going to have? Are we going to have any plants and trees? You know what I mean? What's going to happen in 10 years' time? If this ecological system carries on at the rate it's going, we're not going to have an ecological system. Let's talk a little bit about oceans. I know we're not next to ocean at the moment, but there's an area that's in the Pacific Ocean that's the size of the United States, and it's a complete dead zone. There's no oxygen in the ocean, meaning the actual seabed is just releasing methane, right? There's methane just coming out at the floor, and it's killing all oxygen. If there's no oxygen in water, that means fish, plants, nothing can live. If there's no oxygen in the actual oceans, that means ecological systems cannot survive, right? That's, for instance, that's just one fact. And there's an area of it the size of the United States, for crying out loud, and it's just a complete dead zone, and it's getting larger. So here we are, we're at Upton, West Yorkshire, right? We've just come to a random bit of grass at Sidert Road here in December. And what we're paying attention to, right, is the daisies. The amount of daisies that are on this bit of grass is absolutely unreal. I mean, it's December, for crying out loud, people. Daisies should not be growing. You know what I mean? Daisies should not be growing. So what? Not going to pay you attention to. We're just going to come down to these daisies down here. These daisies should not even be here. I mean, why are these daisies growing? 15 degrees and this bit of grass here at Upton, right? It's full of daisies. It's like it's middle of May or something, beginning of May. It's like it's spring, and we've got a load of daisies just growing here. So what's going off, people? You know what I mean? You know, we're all sat here, right? We're all getting prepped for Christmas. It's Christmas in a week, and we've got daisies growing on this bit of grass here. You know what I mean? And we're all just, look at all these cars and stuff, all these people that are just driving by, right? They're ignoring these daisies, right? They're all that busy with Christmas, they couldn't get a toss. They're just going about their normal lives. They're not bothered with the fact that this bit of grass here is full of daisies. You know what I mean? So, people, we're going to start opening our eyes to this fact, right? The more we ignore it, right, the more we ignore the fact that our climate's changing, is the more that we are turning to sheeple. We're just sheeple. We're just carrying on, right? And this is just pure evidence that climate change is actually physically happening. We are changing our climate. Our climate is changing right before our eyes. Whether it's geoengineering, carbon emissions, greenhouse effect, climate change, we are changing our climate. We are changing it as we speak, and this is raw evidence. A week away from Christmas Day, right? And we've got daisies growing here in Upton, West Yorkshire. How much more evidence do you need? Nothing should be growing at this time of year, but this bit of grass is obviously full of life. Why? Because it's too warm. It's far too warm, right, for the time of year. And this, to these plants, right, it's springtime. Everything's coming back to life. Look at the dandelions that are growing here. How are these dandelions? These dandelions shouldn't even be here. Look at these thistles. We've got thistles. All these plants should be growing in summer. Why are these plants growing now? Look at this clover, for crying out loud. We've got clover growing. These plants should not be growing. I mean, you've just got to take a good scope across the actual whole area, this bit of grass that I'm actually here in Upton, and it's just full of life. We should be in a deep freeze, and we're just all sat here as if it's normal. I know we can't do out about it, but we need to open our eyes. Is this geoengineering in action? Nah, obviously I've said before, we had an heavy spray day yesterday, and heavy spray day is when geoengineering is in action, and you will get a lot of chemtrails in the sky, which produce fake clouds. It is actually weather modification. We've got one there now as we speak. As we speak, and I'm talking about it, we've got evidence, right? We've got a chemtrail there knitted into the sky, right? So obviously, spraying is happening. Spraying is happening above the clouds. We can't see it's actually happening, but look, you can see there's a chemtrail there. We had Storm Desmond that attacked Cumbria, right? And Carlisle had a massive deluge, which overrun the flood defences in Carlisle and just ripped Carlisle off, right? There were 2 months worth of rain fell in that storm in space of 24 hours. 2 months worth of rain in 24 hours. What's all that about? What can't speak can't lie in this world, and I believe that. And these plants cannot speak, so they definitely cannot lie, right? And they're growing, right? They're growing in December. That tells you everything. This planet's got some serious issues that it needs to combat, and if we don't combat them, we're all going to end up dead. And who's to blame? Who's to blame for all this? Us. We're the people that have done this. It's not Mother Nature. Mother Nature won't plan it up. We've done it. We as cars, as power stations, fossil fuels, jetliners, right? Flying planes everywhere, right? Filling air with carbon dioxide, right? And greenhouse gases. It's having a direct effect on our ecological system. We've cut all these trees down. We've put tarmac everywhere, we've built houses everywhere, right? And this is what's happening. This is what we're doing to place, you know what I mean? We're wrecking us home. We're also coming into a thing called Venus Syndrome. Now, Venus Syndrome, what the hell is Venus Syndrome? Right? Venus Syndrome. Venus Syndrome is the fact that we've got too many clouds on planet, which in turn, we're cutting all trees down as well at the same time, right? So we're just like cutting all trees down, getting rid of all this natural rainforests or whatever else goes off it will. We've got too many clouds which are blocking out sunlight. Less trees will go, less oxygen is produced, and we have less oxygen to breathe. And it's a fact that we've got less oxygen in our air than what we had 10 years ago. So to sum it all up in a nutshell, yeah, it's all looking a bit terminal, really, isn't it? You know, it's all going one way. You know what I mean? We're not gonna be able to turn this back. Excuse me, mate. What do you think about all these daisies that are growing?
Well, to be honest, I haven't really gave it a lot of thought.
But have you actually thought about it, that in fact it's actually December and we've got a bit of grass here in Upton, we've got dandelions growing, we've got daisies, all this clover and all this grass that's growing.
Well, the seasons are changing anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, the seasons are changing. Have you took any notice the temperature of it last week?
I normally do. It's warm. I mean, this time last year was freezing.
Yeah. And then it's pretty mild this time of year, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're doing a documentary about it, really, because I think it's an issue that we really ought to be addressing as a race. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And the fact that it's a week off Christmas and we've got daisies growing on this is just a random piece of grass here in Upton, but you've only got to look around. You can see it's everywhere you look, and it's like these daisies think it's.
Oh no! Well, just before I come out a couple of hours ago, we had we noticed some fresh night-scented stalks growing.
Right.
Which are a summer flower.
Which are a summer flower.
Yeah.
So it's not just me then?
No.
No.
I do notice what grows in the garden.
Right. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's worrying.
Definitely.
Yeah, it wasn't cold. How we doing?
Alright. Love you, Colin!
Alright, bud.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
And I'm Colin anyway.
Yeah, I'm Ernie.
Ernie. Been a pleasure to meet you, Ernie.
And you, sir.
Alright, buddy.
Good
We'll get
days.
you both. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
So there you have it. So it's not just me. It's not just me, right, noticing that this fact is actually happening. Even Ernie, right, has actually clarified it for me. Why are all these daisies growing? Right, so what we've done now, we've come to Upton Country Park, which is a local nature reserve situated here in Upton. And what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at Upton Country Park's ecological system, and hopefully we're going to meet a few people and we're going to ask them a few questions to see what they think about the actual state of Upton's ecological system. What you'll find is, at Upton Country Park, we've got like a little lake. It used to be a pit. It's the site of the old former colliery that did actually exist here in Upton. So obviously Upton's an ex-coal mining village, and this is the actual, what remains of the actual pit site, and what's been actually, it's been turned into a country park and a nature reserve. It's also, there's a big massive pond here, like a lake, and obviously it's a stock lake, and it's actually fished by local anglers, and there's also a local angling club that actually fishes this lake and actually keeps, it's members only as well, by the way, so you can't just turn up with a fishing licence. You've got to be a member of the actual fishing club to actually fish the actual lake. And it's a bit quiet today because obviously it's December, but that's what's here. Have you noticed how there's like loads of daisies and stuff growing at the moment?
Lots of wildflowers. Yeah.
Lots of wildflowers for the time of year. Would you say it's particularly warm for the time of year? Mild.
Very summer, so.
But unusually warm for the actual time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like there's a lot. Have you noticed how you've got a lot of stuff? Not in this particular area, but you've got like daisies and dandelions growing and stuff that shouldn't be growing, and grass is growing. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to know. We find it really strange, really.
It's changing from day to day. 1 minute it's freezing, next minute it's quite nice.
Oh, we've had a lot of warm weather this week, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
It's 15 degrees today.
Not bad at all.
It's a week
is
of
it?
Christmas. It shouldn't be 15 degrees at all, should
Could be
it?
snowing tomorrow.
I hope it is.
See you later.
I hope it is snowing. See you later, love.
Come on, Wes.
Right, so there's no fishermen out on lake today here at Upton Country Park, right? There's no one braving these mild conditions, right? But what I want to focus your attention to is this bit of reed. I'll call it reed. I don't actually know what the actual correct term, the actual description of this actual plant is. Lemongrass, reeds, whatever. What I want to focus your attention to is the fact of how healthy it actually is. You know what I mean? I mean, it's December. I keep saying this. I keep saying it's December. But it's not even showing any signs of frost damage. No frost damage whatsoever. No signs of actually any cold weather's actually got to this here plant, which would usually kill off this sort of foliage. Obviously the grass, the daisies, the dandelions. Any foliage on the ground will get killed by frost. And so will this type of grass. This does not grow in winter, right? It's a summer plant, right? And it's still showing lots of health. I know it's dying a little bit, but it's not really showing a really, really bad autumn. But look how lush and green it is, and how much life and how much how alive it is. Madness, completely off its head. Well, let's cover a little bit about jet streams and position of jet streams. Now, in winter, we're supposed to get jet streams from the north, and the north drives down cold air from the north, right? And it makes it cold, right? Now, our jet stream at the moment is not coming from the north, it's coming from Europe, it's coming from south. So what we're getting is a lot of warm air rushing up from south, right? And it's creating these warmer climates. Now, our jet stream should not be doing that, right? But if everything were uniform and how it should be and how it's been for years, right, the jet stream in winter should be coming from the north, fetching colder conditions. Now, we haven't got that jet stream at the moment, people. That jet stream is not happening. To cut long story short, if we haven't got a normal jet stream, that means we won't get normal winters. We've got an interview here, I think. We've got somebody coming. Let's have a minute of your time, please. We're doing a documentary, a local documentary, right, about the time of year. Do you think it's particularly warm for time of year? No, mild. A month, a week off Christmas. Yeah. And what would you say? Would you say it should it really be 15 degrees? Are we a week off Christmas?
I'm sorry. I can't do that.
All right, mate. No worries. Didn't speak a word of English. Immigration, that. Well, that would happen 10 years ago. I thought he were English, mate. I thought he were English, right? And he wasn't even English. He didn't speak a word of English. You couldn't even speak my general language. You couldn't even say hello. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's like the tourists or something, but they live here. It's mad. Do you think it's unusually warm for time of year?
Oh, it's very warm, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Because we're doing a documentary about the actual climate change. Have you been up to what Old Roundabout used to be?
Yeah.
Have you seen all dandelions and daisies that are growing there?
I haven't been recently like
well,
that.
if you have a drive up in the next couple of days, just pay particular attention. That bit of grass there is littered with daisies, mate.
Right.
But now, you know, you're saying daisies shouldn't be growing at this time of year.
Right.
Obviously, it's 15 degrees today.
Yeah.
And but would you say it's unusually warm for time of year?
I guess it is, yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing a documentary, obviously. If you just take a quick walk around, have you noticed everything's still growing as well?
Yeah.
Everything is still growing.
Yeah,
so
strange, yeah.
what they're saying to us is actually true.
There is climate change. It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
But is it something what would happen anyway?
Would it happen?
Would it happen? Is it just a cycle, you know?
Yeah.
We haven't been here that long, have we? To be fair, you know.
No. Yeah, but
big picture, we've not been here that long. We've not been here that long, have we? So
is that your view on it then?
Well, I still think, you know, it's unproven, isn't it? Really.
There's no evidence to back it up.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying recent evidence is that there is change happening, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, there is change. Yeah. Ice is melting, so there is change. But is that a global? You know, it wasn't so long since that we're having an ice age. What's it?
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? In 70s, we're having an ice age. So,
or is it just normal?
Is it just normal in big picture? You know, big picture universe. Is it normal?
Is it normal?
But you know, you can't take away that there is changes what we're used to. In you know what from records that we understand, and we can only go on that, can't we?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Right, cheers for your time,
Right,
mate.
no worries,
I'm
mate.
Colin The Head anyway. I'm Colin The Head.
Colin The Head?
Yeah, I'm Colin
Alright.
The Head. Go on YouTube. I've got my own YouTube channel. Just Colin The Head me on YouTube and you'll find all my videos.
Alright.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Alright, bud. How we doing? Alright. We're just, can I just have a minute of your time, please? We're doing a documentary, right? We're local lads with the YouTube videos, right? And do you think it's unusually warm for time of year?
No.
Today, yeah, today.
Yeah, it's alright.
It's mild, isn't it?
No.
Because we're doing a documentary, the physical how warm it is for this time of year, and the fact that we haven't really had no frost,
No.
and the fact that why we haven't had the frost.
Well, they're on about global warming, aren't they?
Global warming, yeah. And so what we've done, have you been up to old Upton roundabout used to be? Have you walked by there lately over the last few
all
days?
I do is working all week. I just fetch you, I take it out a week, and I just come here every.
Have you noticed how there's like daisies and stuff growing?
I hunt polonies.
Pay attention, have a look around, and you'll notice them. They're growing. I mean, it's Christmas in a week.
Well, it's like so years ago, wasn't it, when we were.
Well, when I was younger, yeah.
I'm like 57, me. When
Yeah.
I was younger, like, I mean, it snowed every year.
Snowed every year.
Also, the paper out me, and so I do all the estate up here. I mean, I live down South Elmsall.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it used to be like covered in snow. You
Yeah.
couldn't get out to your back door.
Yeah.
To dig your way out, chucking ashes off at the fire down
Yeah,
and
yeah. It's not happening no more, is it?
No.
Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen, and we're getting like 15 degrees in
No.
December.
Yeah.
I mean, what's it all about?
I don't know, pal. I don't
It's
know.
well, everyone's same.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the same boat. There's nothing we can do
It's
about
usually
it.
like after Christmas, isn't it, when it starts? January now, a bit later on, you get a bit of snow and that, but not major, is
We
it?
haven't even had a serious frost this year.
No, not up to now, no.
Not up to now.
No.
I mean, leaves are all dropped off at trees, but what kills off all on ground, all
No.
grass and stuff. It's all still
No.
still alive.
No.
It's all
No.
still lush. It's all still growing. I mean, I'll speak from my head. I mean, my grass at home could do with a mow.
No. Well, we had ours done about a month ago, really. Like, we usually do it in like August, that's it, it's done then.
You pack it in September, don't you?
August, September time,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
done.
yeah.
So,
But it
ours
needs.
is growing out.
Yeah, it's still growing. I'm Colin The Head anyway. I do
Alright,
local documentaries and stuff on YouTube.
well.
So if you want to look us up on YouTube, I do a lot of local document. I've done the railway tunnel up Upton.
I used to go and do that when I was younger.
Yeah, I've
and
done
all.
the full documentary on
We used to
that.
get rags and thingy-mac-torches.
Yeah.
Put a bit of petrol, because we used to go on motorbikes and all.
Yeah,
Put a bit of petrol and light them up and go all the way through.
yeah, man.
I used to do all that.
I do local documentary. And today we're doing a thing about the actual state. Well, what's affecting us today is the actual how warm it is. And it is ridiculously mild. I mean, 15 degrees in the car. What's all that about?
It was getting a bit nippy a few weeks ago, like, you know, in the morning. It was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bit nippy time, but like,
Yeah.
I think frost was going to come, but it never did it? So,
It was frosty on Sunday, but that's the only bit of frost we've had. And all we've had is loads of rain.
it's just
But
been rain, hasn't it?
It's just rain, and all rain does is just keeps everything growing.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
And with 15 degrees as well at the same time. No, it's going to die off, is it?
Hope it stays like it.
All right, mate.
All right,
Cheers for your time.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Colin
anyway.
anyway.
All
Colin
right,
The Head.
Colin. All right, Paul.
See you later, bud. We're just outside Co-op here in Upton, right? But what I want to focus to your attention to in middle of December is this thistle. Look at this thistle, for crying out loud. Look at the size of this thistle. It's fucking, look at the size of it. It's absolutely massive. Remember, it's 19th of December 2015. Why is this thistle like that? Because we've had no frost. Not also the thistle, right? But look at these dandelions. Look how big these dandelions are. This is just absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? Look at these dandelions. They're absolutely huge, and they're still in full bloom. Dot leaves, for crying out loud, right? And it's all just going off, right? In middle of December. I mean, how crazy is that? It's absolutely just colossal. And we're just taking it for granted, right? And we're just all just like I've said before. But it's a week to Christmas, and we've still got summer plants growing on floor. It's just absolutely bizarre. Words can't describe. I mean, it's just everywhere you look. Dandelions. It's like, come on, what's going off? What are we doing to us planet? Look at bus, just fit to going for Upton. Nobody on it. People don't use buses anymore. It's Saturday, it's a week of Christmas. That bus is going to Ponty, our local town, and there's about 4 people on it. You know what I mean? Why aren't people going to Ponty anymore? When I were a young lad, we used to pick 246, right? And on a Saturday, that bus was rammed, always full. And even though it was just full, 246 were probably the most famousest bus around here, right? And nowadays, 246, or the equivalent to 246, it's been renumbered to 50, right? And it's empty. Do you know why it's empty? Because everyone's got their own personal car, right? Pumping more carbon dioxide into air, pumping more carbon emissions, and in turn, what it's doing, it's creating that effect over there and making all dandelions grow. Yay! Hey, Fabio, hey! Hey! How's it going, lad? So that's about it, really. Of Colin The Head's climate change. So you've watched my documentary about climate change and how it's affecting my local area. Obviously there's things happening at this time of year that shouldn't really be happening. I mean, it's 15.5 degrees at the moment. Saturday the 19th of December 2015, and what we've done today in this documentary is emphasise how the warm temperature and the lack of frost is affecting our local ecological system. We've been interviewing people, and we've got the word on the street. We've got a variety of opinions. Some people think it's supposed to happen. Some people think it's a little bit strange, but no one's actually got any answers. No one's got any answers for why this is actually happening. Well, the evidence is the fact that things are happening that shouldn't really be happening at the time of year. I'm Colin The Head, and this is Colin The Head's Concern for Climate Change in Upton.
Summer's here, you can hear the birds sing. The grass is green, there's not a single cloud in sight. The sun is out, there's people in the park. Children play, the laughter is a pure delight. Summer comes just one time a year. The season tell a tale, just as nature leaves a trail for us. Summer comes at this time of year. The daisies growing in the park are sure to leave the mark on us. Oh yeah, those daisies with little yellow faces of those